I am Professor Gilles-Eric Seralini. I am professor in the University of Caen in Normandy. I've been working during the last 15 years on the effects of GMOs and pesticides on health. We are using embryonic cells from the placenta or the umbilical cord in order to know the effects of the pesticide residues that are inside the GMOs on health. Nobody knows nowadays that 99.9% of the agricultural GMOs that we are giving to eat to our pigs, to our children, to our population are pesticide plants, so made with plants containing either Roundup, which is the major pesticide of the world, or Bt, which is a major insecticide, kilogram per hectare. And these pesticides could induce side effects that we have demonstrated that. Well, a GMO is a new kind of plant. They are mostly soya, maize, cotton and colza, transformed at a genetic level by Monsanto, by the big companies, 8 big companies in the world, like DuPont, like Novartis, like Syngenta, BASF, and they are transformed in order to be able to contain pesticides. And the GMO is a plant that has been modified in its hereditary patrimony, in its DNA, in order to contain pesticides, and before these pesticides were killing the plants. So that helps greatly the intensive agriculture using pesticides like Roundup in order to facilitate these techniques and the overproduction for pigs of maize, for instance. But unfortunately, it is not for to calm the hunger in the world. It's because it's for the pigs of the rich countries. And we are poisoning these pigs with so many pesticides inside the plants. Well, my specialty is to work on the effects of pollutants on health since my doctorate in the University of Montpellier in 1987. I have always worked on the origins of cancer and of hormonal diseases. So when the GMOs came on the market in 1998, the French government asked me to be in the commission of the regulation of GMOs for the assessment. And I was one of the first scientists in the world to have access to the confidential data that were designed by the companies in order to test these GMOs. And it was a scandal because they were insufficient. So I began to tell that to people in the conferences, in my books and in newspapers or TVs. And there was a lot of debates in France, in Europe. But finally, because of the decision of the European Parliament to make new laws on traceability and labeling and to make new assessments, the Europe, except in Spain, in Catalonia and in another place in Spain, became almost free of GMOs. Only 0.05% of the cultivated area of Europe is contaminated by GMOs because we helped the system to put the laws for labeling and traceability, and then people realize that they don't need that when they know the information and when they have the labeling. So it didn't work. Of course, in Spain you have 100,000 hectares of GMOs without really knowing where they are and what they are used for. Essentially for millions of pigs in Catalonia, but also for other users, and we don't know exactly who eats that in the kids, in the children. So we need more transparency and more labeling in Spain, and to know more from the government who has made the methods to trace and to label, and how many tests are done per week, etc. Unfortunately, almost all scientists first, like probably in the University of Lleida, don't know really the file, don't know really the data, because the company keep these data confidential, and only a very little amount of these people go to the court in order to have the data, like any scientist should do, because maybe they are more paid with the companies to develop new transgénicos, new GMOs, instead of testing on health the other ones. And then when they know the files, they are the scientists that are against us, that are paid by the companies. I won a court affair in January, last January, on defamation, because the scientists that helped to commercialize the transgenic maize in Europe had in fact had in fact links with the companies, and were defaming me. They were saying that I was not serious, etc. And the court affair by the lawyers revealed in front of the judge that they made real lies, because they falsified some documents. They said that there were no studies, and in fact Monsanto did some studies, but they were very lazy, very laxist, and so we have evidenced all these problems. And other scientists, like the network of European scientists responsible in environment and society, more than 50 scientists now in different countries of Europe, and also in link with the Union of Concerned Scientists in North America and in South America, are working to study the risks on GMOs. And we have made in my university an international meeting in last March in order to show that there were risks and that there are problems. And we have also published for the international community of scientists a paper in March, and we have shown that this paper was consulted more than 34,000 times within a few months. So that's one consultation every 10 minutes. And that means that the scientific community was not aware of all these problems and is now getting aware about that. Well, they mostly work for themselves first. They want to patent the seeds in order to have the royalties on the main seeds of the world that can feed the world. You know, we have only 4 seeds feeding 60% of the food energy in the world: soya, maize, wheat, and rice. If they have the patents on these 4 seeds, they are just the kings of the world, because they can have royalties as soon as somebody is eating in the world. Thus, they are like Bill Gates was working to diffuse Microsoft and to be the winner in the selling of computers and computer softwares. These companies do the same in the food industry, and they were before doing the same in the medicinal drugs, and they patented the drugs, avoiding to develop drugs against malaria and against AIDS in the southern countries because of their patents. And the rich countries asked them to put some of their patents on the side, but they didn't want. For the same reason they put the patents on seeds. So they are just searching for their own market, but without testing that on the long term on health, because if you do that, then it's less profitable for them, because they have to take time to put all these dirty things on the market. So they want to develop their technology very rapidly with the minimum of control. And that's completely in the opposition of the interest of the citizens. Well, a few months ago I was contacted by this organization in order to come and to be invited here. I'm thankful for that, but I think and I feel that there is a lot of need for more information and more contradictory debates on TV in order to inform the whole population about these crucial problems.